Stalking a monster bull. Monster bull. Look at that whitetail. As we enter into a new season on TV, it marks the beginning of a new year's worth of adventures for us. And for this season, we have added an entirely new style of adventure to our lineup. You see, over the past several years, I have slowly dipped my toes into the incredibly vast and challenging world of underwater spearfishing. Although my passion for this sport began over a decade ago, I was only ever focused on snorkeling and hunting fish from the surface. But like any form of hunting, once you get into it, the drive to chase newer and bigger animals inevitably takes over. And in the past 2 years, I have found myself doing extensive freedive training and acquiring the gear to target and hunt some of the largest fish in the world. As many of you know, Saskatchewan has always held a special place in my heart, and it just so happens to be one of the only places in Canada where freshwater spearfishing is legal for many larger species of game fish. And for the past few years, there has always been one specific lake in northern Saskatchewan that I've dreamt about diving. I've spent a ton of time on Cree Lake in the winter, and I know all too well what this lake is capable of. I have seen firsthand the number and size of fish being pulled from its depths, and I couldn't imagine what I would see below the surface. Like many outdoorsmen, I have an explorer's mindset, and the thought of exploring the depths of a lake that nobody else ever has is exactly what I search for. This past fall, I finally made it happen when I flew up to Broken Arrow Lodge and joined Brian Garrett and his team for what would be an incredible week of exploring. Well, it does her, I guess. We're pretty much ready to get going. We're up here about to embark on what I say is a lifetime dream journey, but realistically it's just come about in the last couple of years since I've really gotten into the spearfishing side of things. There's always been one lake, one bucket list fish on my list that I want to try and knock off, and that is a big old lake trout. Really difficult. There's very, very few places in the world where you can actually legally do it, and northern Saskatchewan just happens to be one of those. It's one of my favorite places in the world, and we are actually up here with Brian Garrett at Broken Arrow Lodge on the southwest corner of Cree Lake, about to head out onto the water for our very first day, more than likely the very first day ever spearfished on this entire lake. But the water looks clear, the fish are big, the fish are abundant, and maybe towards the end of the week they're going to slowly start pushing up shallower. And I would love nothing more than to finally kill a big old lake trout with a spear gun, and even, you know, some short lines. We're gonna kill a bunch of fish, I'm sure, but I just would love to kill a lake trout. That would be the goal. So
too many days in the darkness without a glimpse of the light, running tired and broken and scared, but I swear I'll never give up the fight.
Trying to find some weeds in here. It's a nice little shallow point that comes out and dropped off. It looks like there's some weeds. Can't see any fish from the surface, but they gotta be down there. Brian says it's a good place this time of year. Joseph's gonna finish it suited up, and I guess we'll go for a swim if you think it's worth it, Brian.
Yeah, I think we should.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Ever any walleye swimming through here? Mostly pike?
Never caught any.
No.
This big pike, we get a lot of lake trout in here in the fall.
Which direction would you head? Towards the point or follow this shoreline?
I would kind of head out towards the point on the edge of that sand drop.
Okay.
See what's that way. I think they're down there.
Okay. Well, we'll give her a shot. Go for a swim.
Fatal Impact is proudly sponsored by Wood Wheaton Super Center, Black Widow Innovations, the MD of Bonnyville, Deluxe Wall Tents, Hutto Knives, iHunter, and Wapiti River Outdoors. This segment of Fatal Impact is brought to you by the MD of Bonnyville. Lake adventures happen here. This segment of Fatal Impact is brought to you by Wood Wheaton Super Center, a proud supporter of our outdoor heritage.
Well, this very well could be the very first northern pike ever speared in Cree Lake. There's tons of them down there, such a healthy fishery, and just a beautiful, healthy pike. Truthfully, it was actually a little bit bigger than I anticipated him being. You know, we're not here to shoot a bunch of giant fish. We're here to, you know, show sustainable spearfishing and shoot enough for us to eat, and more so just experience it. And that's gonna be a delicious tasting fish. And I'm pretty proud to say that that's probably the first fish ever speared in Cree Lake. So we're gonna get them taken care of and get some pictures of them, and I want to get back in there just to see what else I can see. It's pretty cool.
After the first day of diving in Cree Lake, I was blown away by the number and size of fish that we were seeing. Every weed bed was filled with monster pike, and the average size was unlike anything I had ever seen before. We weren't there to kill giant fish, but there was something special about swimming alongside 20 to 30 pound pike every day. It was a unique glimpse into the quality of this incredible fishery and a testament to Brian's conservation approach. But as much fun as we were having chasing pike, our end goal was to try and find a lake trout. Our timing wasn't great, and they were still down in the deep water. When we would get a good weather window, we spent a few hours doing deeper punches down to 50 feet, hoping to catch one starting to move shallower. Diving down to 50 feet in this cold water certainly isn't easy. Trying to control your heart rate to allow you to hold your breath while descending down into the murky depths of a lake like this is intimidating, to say the least. I know the size of fish in these waters, and coming face to face with a 50-pound lake trout at the bottom would certainly spike your heart rate. The difficulty, danger, and unknown aspects are exactly why I love it. We quickly realized that no matter how hard we tried, we simply couldn't get down deep enough to reach the larger lake trout. We lost visibility past 50 feet, and according to the sonar, they were hanging out closer to 100. Although our main goal was to try and shoot a lake trout, we had no choice but to focus back on pike and walleye and hope that they moved shallower later in the week.
Brian! Yeah!
Fatal Impact is proudly sponsored by Scree Gear, Top Notch Taxidermy Studio, Mad Ramps, Immenso Diving Equipment, Dive R Carbon Fins, and 5-Star Redneck. This segment of Fatal Impact is brought to you by Scree Canada, rugged hunting clothing for Canada's terrain. This segment of Fatal Impact is brought to you by Black Widow Innovations, Canada's top choice for broadheads built for Canadian big game.
That was a pretty incredible spot Brian took us to. It's a sunken weed bed, and we jumped in and there was fish everywhere. The viz was perfect. And actually on one of my first dives, I was able to get a really nice walleye. That's probably my biggest walleye. 29 inches. Not super fat, but just a big head on him. I love the fins. That's what I seen when I went and scared him out of the weeds. He took off slowly and he put his fin up and I could see he was missing chunks. He's a fighter. That's cool. We knew there was walleye here. We knew there was big walleye. We didn't know if we were gonna have a chance to see any. It's pretty awesome to actually get one and get a good shot on him. How was that spot?
That was awesome. Unreal visibility. Lots of little pockets of weeds for us to swim through. Looking for walleye, big pike down there. It's great.
If you've ever done a remote fishing trip before, then you understand that the greatest part of each day is finding one of the shore lunch locations tucked up in a bay, filleting some freshly caught fish, and enjoying one of the best meals in the world. To be able to spear a walleye in Cree Lake and then enjoy it over a fire with friends and family is the pinnacle of what a trip like this is about.
I mean, you know, the stuff out of this cold water, it's so firm, even filleting it, you know, like you take a pike out of a lake down south and your fingers just go right through it, and it's just
gross.
But this cold water stuff,
even the color, it's
yeah,
at home the yellow.
Yeah.
Although we were there to spearfish and spend as much time in the water as possible, you simply can't come to Cree Lake and not at least spend some time washing hooks. In between dives, we spent as much time as possible trolling for lake trout and casting the shallows for big pike.
Came back, had some lunch. Now we've got the rods and we're gonna go look for some lake trout.
We go back in time to thrills I miss and all the things I wish we did. All I know is that I need somebody like you, 'cause I can't waste another night sitting here alone, hoping for your voice on the telephone. I know it's a supercut as you walk away, playing in my mind all the things I never close my eyes, and the sky's on fire. I can't waste another night sitting here alone. We can do it all again, and I'll never let you go. And I'll never let you go.
What have we got going on here, Dana?
Here, you pick the rod.
And I'll never let you go.
We got all tangled. And then my dad, his line snapped on my leader, and somehow it's looped around my hook. Oh, this could end so bad. I should put my gloves on. How far were you out? How is that tangled? No, don't undo it. Just keep it organized and don't wrap your hands in it. It doesn't actually feel like a horrible fish. I can't believe we managed to get that back. What are the odds of that? Hope it doesn't take any line peeling runs.
Just wrap it around your finger.
Yeah.
I'll just step on it.
Oh, it is a big fish too.
I thought
Holy crap. No.
No way.
Look at this thing. I know.
No way.
Where's the net? We need. He's just barely hooked.
I told you he's a good fish.
Look at that. What are the odds of that? Dad had him hooked. And we snapped it off. We got tangled because we were getting greedy and had 3 lines in the water. And it wrapped around my leader and snapped the braid. And it was actually still connected to my lure. Somehow it was wrapped on there. And we were able to hand bomb him in.
I told you he's a nice fish.
Yeah. Look at that thing. What are the odds of that? Hand bomb him up. Thankfully, he was already kind of tired out, and so we didn't have to put him through any line peeling runs, but we know there's some giant fish in here. And to finally lay hands on a really, really solid fish is a pretty good way to end off what's been a pretty special trip up here at Cree Lake.
This segment of Fatal Impact is brought to you by Tourism Saskatchewan. Experience the beauty of Saskatchewan for yourself.
We had spent the entire week searching desperately for a lake trout underwater. We hoped and prayed that they would move shallow enough to dive for, but had come up empty-handed. We caught a ton of fish and had an incredible week in camp with Brian and his crew, but I'll admit that I was disappointed to go home without accomplishing my goal. Not only did we not kill a lake trout with a spear gun, but we didn't even see one while diving. We woke up the last morning defeated, but after having coffee with Brian, he suggested that we give it one last try. We had already searched the common areas and shallow reefs that should hold fish, but Brian had one last spot in mind that he figured we should try. I'll admit, I didn't have high hopes, but we had to give it a shot.
Pretty much our last ditch effort for lake trout, so kind of a secret little spot, a little channel that comes up shallow in between here. And Brian says that there's oftentimes lakers in here. We're trying to troll through it just to see if we could hook a couple or if we can mark some. And if they're here, we can swim it, but it's just such prime rocks. Wow. It means they're here, and that hook was still back in 15 feet or less of water.
They weren't very big, but they were lake trout, and at this point in the trip, I wasn't going to be picky. We didn't have much time, so we jumped in the water and tried desperately to find them. After an hour of diving and sitting on the bottom waiting, I finally had my one opportunity. I spotted him from the surface, quickly dove to the bottom, and hoped like crazy that he would come investigate. When I took the shot, my heart sank. I had waited for this opportunity all week, and my gun wrapped up at the muzzle. The shaft went 5 feet before coming to a sudden stop. The fish didn't even know what happened. And just like that, my one opportunity was gone. I can't thank Brian Garrett and the entire crew at Broken Arrow Lodge enough for allowing me to try and make my dream come true. Cree Lake has always held a special place in my heart and is one of my all-time favorite places on Earth. And although I wasn't able to make it happen this time around, I learned a lot and have a better understanding for how things work. Perhaps there's a reason it's potentially never been done before in Saskatchewan, and it's just that much more motivation to push forward and finish what I started.